This is the first actual C++ beginning scripting tutorial that we're going to be using code. Uh, when you open a C++ solution, the first thing you see is your .cpp file. This is essentially your file you just created, the solution you just created, the main everything, the thing that everything happens in. And as we go along in the course, you will actually see what the possibilities are with C++. But right now, we're just going to talk about what we're looking at when you first open it. So here we have a bunch of comment code. Now keep in mind, comment code is literally just two forward slashes, and everything after that will be ignored. After or during, everything that is after the slash will be ignored during decompiling. We see how to start debug menu, what is the debug menu, tips for getting started, and learn to see the file contains a main function, blah blah blah. I'm going to delete all this because it's taking space. So now we're left with include. Now include essentially means we are going to pull in a header file, or a class, namespace, whatever you want to call it. It's mainly a class though. If we open up the header files here, uh, we see all this code. That's might be a lot to look at, but this is IOStream. If we look through in the Solution Explorer on your screen when you first open it, if you scroll down or you actually search for IOStream, you can actually find the header file for it. And if we open that up, we see a bunch of classes that are inside of the include statement, right? We are basically including all of those. There are many other includes or other classes we can actually use in C++, but this is the starting one. That whenever you open a C++ or .cpp file, this is the first thing you see. And then if we go down a little further, we have an int main. This is the main function. This is where everything happens. You have to have a main function to start your program. It will literally not run if you don't have the main function. Now normally you would have a int. This int means the return type. So whenever you make a function, no matter what it is, it has to be the it has to be the identifier followed by the oh shoot, I messed that up. The object type or class type followed by the identifier or header. The header in this case would be main, and the classifier would be the int, which is the class object int. In this case, we have a function here that is literally returning an integer. Right? If we run this program by clicking up here, we'll see. Wait for it to decompile. Okay. Or compile. Yeah. So we see hello world, and we see blah 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 process that exited with code 0. Right? This is what that is coming from. Right? If we actually return, this is just an example of you'll learn what returning is, and I'll explain it now actually. Returning is essentially you're returning something to that function that you're returning in. That will make more sense in the later episodes, but that's what it does. If I return -1 here, don't ever return -1. You see it exit code with -1. We can do -55 in theory, right? Don't ever do this because it's really bad. We end with -55, right? Because it's the main function, and whatever that is returned will print out with the as the exit code. Now, normally we want to return with exit code 0 because that means the program ran successfully. No errors, no decompile errors, or anything. So, you may be asking, what is this? Well, STD means namespace. It's a namespace for standard. Standard namespace. Now, a namespace is essentially a list of functions that can be called upon using a namespace. I'm actually going to do using namespace std, so I don't have to type out this every time. This essentially says, hey, we're going to be using the namespace standard. So every time you type cout, instead of putting standard in front of cout, it will, we don't have to because it already recognizes, hey, cout is a part of standard. And if we run the program, we'll notice it does the same thing, hello world. Then what are these? Well, these are the outward facing arrows. This means we are sending something outward. Stream out is what the term is. So when you have cout, console out, and we're sending something out with the outward facing greater than signs, less than signs. So we're doing cout, we're streaming out the string hello world, and we end it with a semicolon. That is literally what this means. We're sending something, streaming something out to the console, and what we're sending out is hello world. That is what this means. We could also put whatever we want in here. We could put hello there with that, and we have hello there. Whatever you want to put, it will print. There are exceptions to that, and I'll get into those exceptions when I stumble upon this. Right now, this is what all you need to know is this. So then you have, there's another type of stream input type. There's a string or stream into, which is the into symbols like this. It means we're sending something into, and that's used with the console in, cin, cin. I will get into that in the next episode, but right now all we need to know is cout, the stream out symbols, and how to print something. See you in the next episode.